Hello, everybody. Today, I actually have no idea what to talk about. No, I'm just kidding. Um, I usually do these videos as a type of blog, I guess, like just basically what I'm thinking about during the day, what I read up on, what I learn. I just kind of like want to share it, and I think it's interesting. So, in this video, I wanted to state why I started this channel. First of all, it was to upload my music, and this is because I've been doing music for a while, right? Like on and off ever since I was 9. So I said, well, I'm gonna open up a YouTube channel and then just like upload my music on there, which is what I've been doing. But I mean, and I still do it, but then it slowly turned into like this sort of like short video type of thing where I started to upload like videos of things that like I was learning about. And this is because I thought that or I still think that, it's worth sharing and for people to also like, think about this stuff. I mean, I think my videos don't have any type of practical or technical or procedural or know-how knowledge. Like it's just, I think you can just put on one of my videos and then like it'll just make you think. So it's kind of like reading a book or like a storybook. It's just narrating. It's just like talking about ideas, right? And I know I could add a little bit of more narration or more storytelling, more experiences, right? Because a lot of times, like the ideas I'm working with are actually ideas that are happening in my life, but I just don't come out with the concrete examples, right? Like with the real life experience, like and maybe I could do that or expose or talk about my ideas, but with context, right? With the experience, with the situation I'm talking about. Because I know they're kind of like a little bit abstract at times. Like one of my first videos, is infinity zero or something like that, where I just go off on a rant of infinity and zero, and it's just kind of like for you to trip out on, for you to like think about if you like that type of stuff. Then after I did those type of short videos, I thought I could get a little bit more structured. So I started to make those videos, but actually I started to like write down ideas, right? So I would write down the ideas and kind of like, eventually it got to the point where I was just reading, what was on the fucking like Word document. And then, so I guess it became more structured. And that was because I would have the ideas, but I would find myself oftentimes doing kind of what I'm doing right now, where I'm just ranting and maybe even repeating myself a lot of times or not. I don't know. I haven't really gotten any feedback on my videos. But then I thought, why don't I make this like more structured? I have to write down my ideas and then actually talk about my ideas. But it became eventually, and at the time I was watching a lot of essay videos on YouTube. So then it just became this sort of like, I'm just gonna do video essays, right? Like just write an essay, record it, and then put pictures on it, and then just don't show my face anymore. And that's kind of what I was doing. If you notice, I kind of stopped doing that. I mean, there are still a lot of videos that I have pending, a lot of ideas. I just need to develop the essay, right? And write it and record it and edit it. And I think that's probably like the most difficult part, editing those videos, because I would edit like every single second of it, and it was taking me a long time. So, I'm going to get back to that. I was doing that because I thought that way I could come across as more coherent with my ideas, right? Like more logical. People would understand me better. I would be able to actually express and like sit down and think about my ideas. But the editing process, again, it's kind of hard. So now I kind of just said, well, you know what? I'm just going to start making these videos again where I'm just talking, and if you go back to this thought playlist or the thoughts playlist in the first video, I kind of mentioned a little bit of that. So now I'm kind of back to that type of loose format where I'm just not following any structure. I mean, I still write down stuff, right? Like I have ideas I write down and then I just kind of work off those ideas. But my main goal is like for everything to come straight fresh from my head, right? I mean, I know the power of paper and pen, and I'm using it because it's really important to write down the ideas too, so you have a type of I guess criteria to base yourself off of, right? Or to go off on. But I want the ideas to come out spontaneously, right? So like usually right now, like I just got home from work, and when I get home from work is when I'm, in traffic. I do a lot of meditating. I think in those moments where you really don't have, where you could do like mechanical things, I guess, that you're used to, kind of like driving, and you're able to occupy your mind on other things. This could happen. I mean, and I think there's a difference between meditating uh, intentionally, and then just simply when your mind wanders. And I think when you meditate intentionally, it's kind of harder for ideas to come down on you, right? To connect with you, than when it just comes to you naturally, right? Like I was on my way from work just now, and I was like, okay, I want to make a video, but what's it gonna be about, right? Like, so eventually, like I got, that idea out of my head, and then I was just like driving, and I started just kind of drifting, right? And I was thinking about some stuff, right? About how like people plan things, and I was like, whoa, this is pretty nice. And then I started thinking that I could make a video on that, and that cut off like my thought process, right? And I was just like, oh, so that kind of interrupted it. But if I do want to speak about this, like what I think about people planning is that, I was thinking people could be good planners if they would do it by themselves, right? But I think, and it doesn't have to be like something that is like a big deal, right? Like for work, it could be like for fun, right? Like, what are you planning on doing this weekend? Oh, I'm planning on, and I don't think it's usually like I'm planning, it's we're planning, right? It's like a collective plan. So plans always come about in a collective way and never in an individual way. And I think that's kind of where people are failing at planning, because I'm all about individual planning. It's kind of hard for me to plan collectively because people won't show up or whatever. But I think for people to really be effective and efficient in their lives, and even, it's kind of like, I don't remember who said this, but somebody said something somewhere along the lines of like, oh yeah, it was Captain Holt, I think, from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, this comedy series where he's like, okay, and I've programmed fun from 8 to 9, right? So now have fun. I think it was him or someone like that, where they're really serious. This character is like really stiff, and he shows no emotion. So he's like, I planned, for us to have fun during this time. And it's funny because he's like, it's like, what the fuck. But yeah, basically, I think people should plan individually, right? Like they don't need other people to plan, and that's kind of the problem, where they'll depend on other people to make plans. It's like you make your own plans, right? Like if you need to do certain things, do certain things. That's kind of where that idea was going. But like I mentioned, I wasn't able to like just get lost in it, right? Because this other meta thought of like, oh, you could do a video on this, like came in and interrupted the initial thought process I was going through, right? So I'm gonna see how I can like accommodate or fix this, so I can, build it into my videos, and I can make more videos. I'm planning on dropping like videos as often as possible, right? Like once or like a week, maybe, like 5 or 6 or something like that, right? So be on the lookout for more videos like this. If you have any comments, share them with me. Feedback be appreciated. And yeah, hit like, comment, subscribe, all that shit. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.